Are you looking for a light read? Something fun? Something entertaining? Well, check out Bookinterrupted's blog. You can find Manuscript Mondays, Topic Tuesdays, Word Wednesdays, Thought Thursdays, Fact Fridays, and Silly Saturdays. Sundays are reserved for Down the Rabbit Hole or Top 10 lists, artwork, and more. Be sure to check out Bookinterrupted's blog at www.bookinterrupted.com/blog.
Parental guidance is recommended because this episode has mature topics and strong language. Here are some moments you can look forward to during this episode of Book Interrupted.
It's just like a typo. Like, I'm like, how did this guest pass like all your editors? It's on page 149.
Whenever you read like a Kafka or something like that, you think maybe it is all like an illusion.
I don't know how they'd redo that. I'm sure everybody's heard of this experiment.
I'm not like
okay.
really like having it. No, but I definitely cry a lot.
Literally gone. And she was like, I didn't even see where you went. The lights went on and you were just gone.
Like, exactly. Take notes.
Mind, body, and soul. Information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being distracted. Mind, body, and soul. Information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being disrupted. Mind, body, and soul. Inspiration is the goal. Interrupted.
Welcome to Book Interrupted, a book club for busy people to connect and one that celebrates life's interruptions. If you'd like to join along, this book cycle is from February 14th to April 3rd. It's Sarah's book pick, and we're reading Talking to Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell. Something is very wrong, Gladwell argues, with the tools and strategies we use to make sense of the people we don't know. And because we don't know how to talk to strangers, we are inviting conflict and misunderstanding in ways that have profound effect on our lives and our world. Let's listen in to this episode's group discussion.
Did you guys notice in the book the mistake about friends?
Yes. Yeah, I love
that. Yes, it drove me nuts.
Right away. I was like,
what?
Oh gosh, wait, there's a mistake?
Yes, on page 149, he sets up the...
He says Rachel instead of...
Yeah, he sets up the whole scene. He's like, it's when Ross finds out about Monica and Chandler, and he's talking about the numbers on the face, and he does a perfect 4, 7, 10, whatever, like to show his expressions, you know, that part. Yeah. It's just like a typo. Like, I'm like, how did this guest pass like all your editors? Like, it's on page 149.
He also did it in the audio. This is what's crazy to me. Like, how do you not catch it?
Oh, wow. Well, he must have been reading his book.
What is it?
Ross sees Chandler and Rachel embracing. Well, no, he doesn't. He sees Chandler and Monica embracing.
Oh.
Like, I tweeted it and I got no traction either. I was like, this is going to be my time on Twitter. Like, someone's going to... And I Googled it to see if it already was like an uproar. Like if people were like, oh, edited Malcolm Gladwell's, because that's a pretty big one. Like that's not just a typo. It's a whole different character.
Yeah, Chandler and Rachel would not be embracing.
No.
Never.
Not in that episode anyway.
I don't think they've ever embraced on an episode. I'm sure they haven't.
Yeah, they never have.
No.
And isn't there a whole new generation that are obsessed with Friends right now? You'd think it'd be a thing, like a real thing.
Yeah, like a movement.
Yeah.
Say her name. Like, you know, get her name right.
I thought that was really interesting, though, the idea that there's this way that we do think that our faces should look. And I'm kind of cerebral a lot of the time. So when I'm going through something, I'm often thinking, so I don't really show a lot of emotion. So I actually put on things on my face, especially working in the restaurant industry, so that people feel comfortable with the way that I am. Like I'll smile or do something with my eyes to be this idea of what the Friends people are, just so that other people feel comfortable. And I think even, what was her name? Amanda Knox, and that idea that she just lived her life differently and didn't act the way that people thought that she should act when her roommate had been murdered, that all of a sudden they're like, well, she must be guilty. And I always worry, I'm like, well, what if I'm in a situation like that and I don't react the way that they want me to react? Because I don't react most of the time the way people expect me to be reacting. I just found that really fascinating, and different, that's different islands and how they'd shown those faces, remember, of the people, of what people were smiling and sad and frowning, and the people on those islands that didn't have a lot of exposure to other places didn't recognize, in their mind, that face didn't link to the same emotion as what we in North America would think that face would link to.
So here's something interesting from that, because it's like basically saying like TV has kind of ruined us. We just like assume everybody reacts the same way, which is what you're saying. But then you think about like people who watch, people say you shouldn't let your kids watch more than whatever the recommendation is for the American Pediatric Association.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 hours a day, no more than 2 hours of TV a day. But like some people don't let their kids watch very much TV at all, and some their kids watch more TV for whatever reason. And so you wonder if different people, where like the kids who don't watch any TV maybe have trouble being understood by the kids who watch a lot of TV or something, or vice versa, because they're seeing different things. These kids are just reacting however you're thinking. You look angry, but you're not really angry, right? Like I think like this, people are like, Dan's always like, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, I'm just thinking. He's like, okay, I thought you were angry. Right. But you wonder if that's going to cause, maybe some people don't get along or even just the shows that you do watch, right? Somebody's watching Only Friends and then somebody's watching something completely different. I don't know. You wonder if that's going to cause misunderstanding, because media is such a huge influence on
I think
how we learn how to interact with each other as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I like the research they did about being shocked, that they looked at all these people in a shocking situation and no one reacted like on a sitcom. I love that. I really love that, because even like our off the shelf episode, how we were talking, how when I go to shock, I'm like, oh, like run around with my arms up in the air. And then Lindsay all of a sudden takes action, right? Like everybody reacts differently, but because we're all be painted with the same brush, then people are not really reading people properly. Same with Meredith. People always think I was angry. I mean, anytime I start a new job, when I start thinking about something, they would say, is something wrong? And I'd be like, oh no, just look for the twirling in the hair. It means I'm thinking. I'm not mad at anybody. If I'm twirling my hair and have like an angry face.
I take the twirling thing as it feels nervous to me.
Oh no,
it feels like you're nervous, but you both do it, and you can't be that.
It's a thinking thing.
I'm just thinking.
Does your mom do that?
And that's what
it's like you're self-soothing is what you're doing. Is you're self-soothing.
I don't know.
It's something.
Like, I don't feel nervous. It's like if I'm thinking, it's like you're.
But it's a form of self-soothing. Everyone's got to like B and Max somehow genetically have the same. Like a little self-soothing tick, like they just like to do this.
Oh, you make my nose itchy when you do that. If anyone touches their nose, I can't deal with it. My nose itchy.
That is something I did not know about you.
That's right.
We've known each other so long. I love that.
I don't tell many people, because then they do that.
The whole world now knows.
Now
I know it's true. What did I say that?
Now you're gonna get from fans. People are gonna be like this to you all the time, fans.
I know. Oh, it's my nose is so tingling right now.
Oh no, no.
Talking about it. Okay, enough.
Next subject.
Back to the book now. What was when they were trying to shock people? That was hilarious. Wasn't it, Sarah, that they put them in a room? They walked them through an area and then put them in a room and then changed the whole, like it was a set, and then they changed the outside. So when they came out of the door, it was like, and then there was somebody there who they knew or something that yelled. Was that in my head? Or
no, it was something really shocking. It was funny because
it was really funny shocking. Though. It's like, oh my God, like, can you imagine doing that? So you're like walking to a room and then you walk out and the room is different. Like, how would you react? You'd be like, Did
somebody put something in my coffee?
Yeah. I would probably think it was my brain. I'd be like, maybe I wasn't paying attention when I walked in.
Yeah, I would think that too.
I remember thinking that is such a hilarious prank to pull on somebody. Like, if I ever want to get back at somebody, walk them into a room and then change everything and walk them out. Just watch them react. Be mean. I know, but funny.
So this is what it was. The experiment was they sat in a room and listened to a recording of Frank Kafka, right? A short story. And then when they finished the test, because they started in one room, right? And they were led to a corridor, listened to Kafka, and then led back to the room they thought they were going back to that they had originally gone into. before. And when they come to the room has been changed. And what it is now, it's a wide open space, not like a small room. It has bright green walls. A single light bulb hangs from the ceiling, illuminating a bright red chair, and sitting in the chair is your best friend looking solemn. So basically it looks like something you'd see in a horror film.
So it just happened to me. And we're like, it's happening. It's finally happening.
So elaborate. It's like
I
the most
knew that my
elaborate.
life was absurd. Yeah, like, you know, I knew this was all a lie or whatever, right? Like whenever you read like a Kafka or something like that, you think maybe it is all like an illusion. You know, I don't know. Does anybody ever think that?
Right. So they make them listen to Kafka first, which makes sense. And I remember being like scary. So that's what it was. It was friend, but it's scary. Yeah, that's so funny. And so obviously you're shocked. And
Oh, you think it's scary?
yeah,
Oh,
I would think it would be scary. No?
you think you would be scared or just like
Yes.
confused? I'm just like,
That's what I think the problem was, is that everybody's facial expressions was more confusion than it was shock.
but you would be confused and shocked being like, I've been drugged or reality is not what I thought it was. I like sci-fi.
Right. They wanted you to be like,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, it's so shocking. Right. But everyone really would be like,
You would be cautious. You'd be like, my best friend's there though. This can't just be that they did
you'd be
this.
curious.
How did my best friend get here?
Yeah.
They could be like confusing, but like, I must be careful now.
Totally. Nothing is as it seems.
Am I moving in slow motion? Like, I'd be thinking all these things. Yeah.
I'd be
I don't know if fear
scared,
would-
but I think it's because I've done so much. Like I work for that charity for human trafficking. So if I saw my friend there looking
Context.
scared in a room we weren't supposed to be in, and then people led me after listening to a Kafka or short story, I would already be feeling weird. I'd go in there and be like, oh my God, is this it?
Are we trafficked?
Oh my God. Or,
This is how they do it?
Like
How
scary,
elaborate. I thought it was
and what's
Why
happening?
did they read me that story?
I'd be terrified. I'm like,
You'd be like, I thought they just like throw you into like a van. I didn't think they were gonna have this big warehouse with this like psychological,
really
like
tricking me.
psychologically upsetting test.
I'd be confused and terrified. But
Interesting.
I'd run.
That's true. That's true. But
Would
that's
you,
our reactions
though?
too. You'd be flighting. I'd be like, what do I need to do here? I need to be cautious. What's
Yeah,
my
I'd be
next
flighting.
step? And you just be like, I
Would
gotta
you
get out of
really
here.
though? Like both
I
of
would be
you,
fighting
Sarah,
for sure.
would you run? Like if you walked into that room, would you try to run away or you'd run
No,
towards your
shock.
friend?
That
You'd just
shock
run
is the shock when my arms are up in the air. Actually, it's more when I'm physically like
Attacked.
injured. But I would flight. I would run. I would I would
away
sneak
or in the room?
away from
Like,
at least
would
the people who led me to the room.
I bet you'd start backing up and looking around. Right?
Yeah, I'd be like, I gotta get the hell out of here.
I would think it was on like bloopers somehow, like a hidden TV camera show.
Yeah.
That would be my default to my truth. Is like,
I
if
wouldn't
things
think it
don't
was
make
like a
sense,
crime.
there's a hidden camera somewhere. Someone's trying to make me look stupid. I'm
Oh,
not gonna
see,
look
no, I would
stupid.
run.
I'm gonna look cool instead.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Actually,
That
you
didn't
know
bother
what?
me.
You
At
can get
all.
me.
That's-
Fine. My friend's here. The room's green. Whatever.
I was thinking I'd probably try to get my friend, but I wouldn't. I would just run. I remember
Great.
once when me and Kara,
Good
You-
to know, right? You're on
we
your
went
own
to
if you're
her
with her.
old,
I know.
we went to her old house.
Was it
We
haunted?
were in our 20s. They had moved, and Kara's old house had a hot tub. You remember, Leah? You had a hot tub there, and we had been out at clubbing or whatever, and we decided that we wanted to go into the hot tub. And Kara's like, we should just try to go. They're sleeping. We could just probably get in. And at the time, probably because we were drunk.
Yeah, it's like,
Um,
that's a great idea.
Do it. So we went, but Kara forgot that the backyard had sensor lights, which they literally just moved a month before. So we went into the backyard and the sensor lights came on, and I jetted. I was out of there.
I'm
fast.
out of here.
They never saw me. I was like in the bushes, ran and slid into the bushes so they couldn't see me. Kara, being someone that would freeze, was like,
Shooting
the light.
jazz hands.
You have to run now. Running is our reaction in this situation.
then the lady that moved in was like, I can see you.
Even if she's frozen. No, you can't. I'm in tableau.
You're just sorry. Get out of my backyard. And she was like, okay, sorry. She moved out. She's like, Sarah. She couldn't even see where I was. Sarah, where are you? And I was like, shh, stop using my name.
I'm not here. I disappeared.
I was
literally
Oh my
gone. And
God.
she was like, I didn't even see where you went. The lights went on and you were just gone.
You're like,
And I was
exactly. Take notes. Take
so I
notes.
think if I walked into that room with the light bulb with the thing and the chair in my front, I would be out of there.
You would
Yeah,
just
but Sarah,
spontaneously
remember,
combust.
you had this like authority figure walking you around though. You're like, I signed up for this experiment and there's an authority figure beside me. You'd also be like, there's the rules. So at first you'd be like, the rules,
I don't think so.
the
with
scary
rules.
thing, the rules.
That's the
and then you'd
Milgram
probably
thing.
go.
What would you think you would do in the Stanley Milgram experiment? Would you shock the people until they were crying out that they couldn't handle it anymore? Right?
Oh, that's hard to tell.
I
Yeah.
think not, but everybody
I am
thinks
very
not.
much-
out of
Exactly,
context.
Everybody
because
thinks they
we do
wouldn't.
have an authority thing. Because in that Milgram experiment, they also have redone it and tested if the person who's telling you to do the shocking, how professional they look, like how authoritative they look, right? Do they have a lab coat on or are they dressed casual or whatever? And more people listen to the more uniformed guy.
I don't know how they'd
Mm.
redo that. I'm sure everybody's heard of this experiment.
Yeah.
Well, I
It'd
don't
be
know if
hard.
it was in the original experiment then that they
Oh,
had those
maybe.
variables or not, but I know that there's
maybe.
an impact from how authority
Mm.
the guy looks. I don't know what the right tense of the word authority is to make it work in that sentence.
But there's bound to be people who don't know this experiment. You just get people who are younger than us because, we've been
Yeah.
around for a while.
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
If you have any
just saying.
psychology
Been around for a while.
learning, then you
Right.
do know, because it's like why we have ethics.
But, like,
It's
a lot of
literally
these
that's
experiments
what
are
they
done
used to
on-
teach you, like why ethics exist.
But a lot of these things are done on like undergraduates. So depending on, you could like screen an undergraduate who might not have learned that. Think about when you
You could be
were
teaching
younger.
that experiment to your new psychology class. Like they might actually not know. They learn it. You learn about it at that's
Right.
Like, yeah.
Think back to like whenever you learned something that happened when your parents were 20, right? And it's like, oh, this is something new, but it's something they've known forever. I don't know. Right? It's all in
That's-
context. Doesn't everybody know that? Or old movies that are like famous, but not super famous, right? Like everybody's seen that movie. I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's surprising ones. Like people will be like, "Who's Christopher Reeve?" or whatever. You know what I mean? Like what
Or,
depending
like-
on where the age line is,
What
people
was I
that we all
watching?
think is like, well, duh.
Is it Reeve? I always thought it was Reed. Like D, not V.
Oh no, it's definitely V, but it might be Reeves
Christopher Reeves.
with an S, not a Z, like I pronounced it.
It's a bunch of Z's at the end. It's super cool.
Yes,
Zed's Reeves.
Christopher Reeves. You pronounce all 4 Z's.
It's so ridiculous. I always thought it was Reed's.
College Humor, they do this thing called Don't Laugh News. And it's like they're supposed to be reading the news and not laugh at these ridiculous stories. And when they brought up Mrs. Doubtfire, one of them had to pretend like they were living the life of, or the plot of Mrs. Doubtfire or something. She's like, I haven't seen this movie, which is one of those movies that if you aren't our age, you may never see, because it's not like people know about the movie, maybe, or maybe they don't now. At the
has
time,
passed.
everyone's like, yeah, of course I saw Mrs. Doubtfire. It's on TV all the time. But even now, people don't like necessarily have TV. Right?
True.
Like, we don't
Yeah.
have standard TV. I don't even know how I would hook that up. We used to just put the cable thing in the wall. Does that still work? I don't know. I haven't like
I
plugged the
don't know.
TV into a cable thing in the wall
I have no idea.
for at least a decade.
the cable
I
guy
don't
doesn't.
think it does. You get like, I think, a box. Like
I think it's
almost like a
internet
VCR
TV
looking
now.
thing.
Like everything
Yeah.
is really
Everything.
actually
Well, that's the
streamed.
thing. So you used to be able to like take a plug and plug it into your wall, and then you'd get at least 12 channels. And you might be able to watch Mrs. Doubtfire. Anyway.
Oh
You
yeah, like
remember-
cable TV. Yeah, there was always something. You could always get like city
For free.
TV somehow.
Yes, there was
You
always
have to-
something for free. Yeah.
Yeah.
Schweitz, do you remember me and Schweitz when we had our apartment together? We had rabbit ears.
Yeah.
So I don't know, we had 4 stations or something with our rabbit ears. And then I remember they made some sort of law that they were going to get rid of the rabbit ears. Remember? And we were
That's
so
right.
annoyed. We were like,
Yes.
are we going to have to get real cable?
Do we have to
Because
pay
all we
for it?
had was rabbit ears.
And we didn't. I think we
didn't.
used it for as long as we possibly could. So
Yeah. And then we're like, forget it. We don't even watch TV. I mean, it was very rare that we watched television, but we did. That's why I watched so much of The Office, because it was always on reruns.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. What a great freebie.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah, that's
There's
an
a lot
awesome
of good
freebie.
freebies.
This interruption is brought to you by Unpublished. Do you want to know more about the members in Book Interrupted? Go behind the scenes? Visit our website at www.bookinterrupted.com.
Book interrupted.
the latest interruptions are crazy. I don't know what's going on with 2022, but it seems so weird right now. Like all around me, knock on wood, I feel very lucky and grateful that things are going kind of okay for me, and I feel nervous having just said that, like I'm inviting something to go badly. But yeah, all around me, I don't know, like just even globally and then with friends and work, and it seems like everywhere I look, there's just something really extreme and usually negative happening, and it's getting to be a bit much. Let me tell ya, I'm looking forward to the spring and maybe some brighter days because I don't know what is going on. So, yeah, literally the only interruption has just been being completely flabbergasted at some of the things I've just been witnessing going on in this crazy, crazy world.
Book interrupted.
You guys were talking about, wearing certain things and people feeling that they're in control or they're an authoritative figure. And I also think body language. While you were saying that, Kim, I was thinking that. Do you know how often if you stand straight, you look like you're confident, you can walk into a lot of places that you're not supposed to walk into or do whatever?
Oh, yeah,
Because they're like,
totally.
oh, they know where they're going or they know what they're doing. And
That's what
like,
Bernie Madoff did. The way that he
Yeah.
spoke. That's why they
yeah.
were like, oh, never mind. He's not a scammer. How could he possibly speak so, intelligently about
confidently.
this? Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But also
Um,
you seeing the attractiveness too, because it makes me think that, throughout my life, I remember one time I got a friend of mine, just like an interim job I was working for Cadbury. And like, it was just a summer position. And I was like, they've never done anything sales, nothing business, whatever. And they're like, no, that's okay. That guy's a good looking guy. He'll do fine. And I was like, oh, that like literally that's what the boss said. Oh, he's good looking. He'll be fine. And I have experience driving. If I wasn't like, when I'm not wearing makeup and I get pulled over for something, I always get a ticket. But if I like look put together.
Why do you get pulled over?
How often
so
do you get
much?
pulled over?
She
Well, in
doesn't.
Toronto, you get pulled over a lot. No left turns between 5 and 6 on a Thursday. Like
Possibly you're a bad
constantly.
driver.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Remember that time we got pulled over because you were eating a donut?
I
Where
don't
we going?
remember, but
Remember we were
I
looking
get
for
pulled
ground
over.
beef to make. That's what we told the cop. We got pulled over because Sarah was driving too slow because she was eating a donut and like looking at, and it was like New Year's Day or something. It was some day where nothing was open and we were driving around looking
And
for...
people were probably also possibly drunk from the night before. That's probably why he actually pulled you over if you're going slow.
Yeah, like he made some comment. We're like, no, or maybe we thought, like, we're like, oh, why are we getting pulled over? And she was like, maybe it's because I'm eating this donut. And I was like, I think you're allowed to eat when you're driving. I don't know.
You're not now. Legally, it's actually a legal thing.
Distracted driving.
Yeah, it's
Oh
called
my
distracted
God.
driving.
It's so stupid. Then remove the radio and no more passengers
That's
either.
ridiculous.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line? Everything's distracting.
It's true.
Well, that's why it's strange that you can still talk on Bluetooth because it's just as distracting as talking on your phone if it's not wireless.
Yes. Or
Right?
if what about what you're talking about?
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I'm having a nice day driving, and then someone's like, oh, your uncle died. Oh, like
Very dramatic.
I feel like in the car is where I cry a lot. Like because I don't want to cry in front of my family.
Like while driving though?
Yeah, because I'm alone.
While driving?
No.
No, you should just
alone,
pull
yeah.
over for that.
Yeah, you need to pull over. Yeah.
I've pulled over if I was feeling sad. I'd be like, I need to pull over and be sad.
You have to, like, because you're like
sure.
incapable of seeing at that point.
Well,
like,
no, there's levels of crying too.
That's
I'm
right.
Not like,
Okay.
like really like having it. No, but I definitely cry a lot, and I listen to so many podcasts in car, and sometimes they're super sad, and you gotta cry.
yeah.
You gotta cry.
You know what makes me cry? Have you guys listened to the Encanto soundtrack?
Oh, yes, I love that.
Sorrigitas or whatever. The one that's the main song. It's in Spanish and it's so heart-wrenching. And then they have a English version on the end of the soundtrack. And then it makes you cry even more.
Oh,
You're
But
like,
that's
yeah,
what
I
I
can
was
understand
thinking
what
if-
they're saying.
But the music, but when you hear the song, it makes you cry anyway. Just the song is very...
it comes through.
That's what I mean. You're like, the music was moving anyways, but now I know how sad it is.
Also,
Or
I can't
whatever.
stop singing over and over. It's driving my whole house crazy because I keep going, we don't talk about Bruno, no. Like, I can't stop singing about Bruno.
Yeah, the whole family. We just, like, the kids love it. And I mean,
So
it's
good.
like Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's just, everything he does is good. So they'll like, we'll listen to Encanto. They're like, now we need to listen to the Vivo soundtrack, which, by the way, I can't buy. This is pissing me off. I want to buy the Vivo soundtrack because my kids love that soundtrack, as do I, and I can't buy it in Canada. It's also by Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's about a Kikaju in Cuba. He goes on an adventure. Yeah, it's good. Cute. But the music's great, and I can't buy it in Canada. So
what, like a CD
annoying.
or you can't
Anything.
just buy it?
You can't buy
get it
CD,
on
number
Spotify?
one. You could only buy MP3s in United States.
But you can't like buy it on, I don't know.
Nope.
Digital?
You have to buy a streaming service that you pay for every month to listen to it.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you can buy it.
No, if I wanted to pay for Spotify every month, or I wanted to pay for, but every month I just want to buy the music that I want and then have it and be able to play it in the car or whatever.
Can't even buy it on iTunes or whatever, or do
No,
they
you
still have that
can't.
even?
No, you can buy it off Amazon if you're in the States.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? So I have to listen. I listen to it on YouTube on like a video, not YouTube Music. I can't listen to it on YouTube Music, like on a video. But I can't listen to it in the car because it uses up too much data.
I have an idea. Go on Amazon.com and just send it to you.
Yeah, but you have to have a billing address that's in the States and like an American credit card. Like, oh, just apply for American credit card and house.
Maybe you just should make an appeal to the fans. If we have any fans in the States who would like to purchase this music for Meredith,
I just want to buy it. I just want to give you money.
she'll even pay you back.
I should hope so. Okay.
That happens all the time here for me.
Yeah, Sarah, like I can't get anything.
Yeah.
Remember, she couldn't get like, well, you were gonna grow your own like sunflower seeds or sunflower
seeds.
or what was
She
it?
grew
Pumpkin seeds. She was
pumpkins.
like,
She's gonna build
okay,
pumpkins to get pumpkin
just for
seeds.
like your health, you're like, I guess okay, I'll start growing pumpkins this time next year.
It was
gonna
the
feel
seed
better.
cycling.
Yeah.
Your seed cycling.
Seed cycling
I
for
was like, that's
Sing
just
Red.
normal for me.
It's just funny because it's like an MP3, right? So it doesn't, you don't have to deliver it. You know?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to deliver it. There's no physical.
Oh, well.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Book Interrupted. If you'd like to see the video highlights from this episode, please go to our YouTube channel, Book Interrupted. You can also find our videos on www.bookinterrupted.com.
Thank you so much for listening and supporting us. Do you know you can also support us by wearing some of our kick-ass swag? Check it out at www.bookinterrupted.com/shop.
Moments you can look forward to on next week's Book Interrupted.
I don't know her at all. And now I'm jumping to a conclusion that she's suicidal.
Just because she's a poet. Okay, let's not.
I feel like they don't give the right amount of attention to those super important factors. And
I think he's on all the topics. He's just touching on a little bit of each topic.
Wherever we feel like going, we're going to do it everywhere. Needle in a haystack, everybody's criminal.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Right.
He did say that, like, when we meet a stranger, we rely on stereotypes for better or for worse.
Book interrupted.
never forget, every child matters.